Hey guys, welcome to the first video of my 2024 NFL predictions. And today I will be starting with the Jacksonville Jaguars as requested by this commenter, Amer Gauss. I'll put him up here. And yeah, let's get started. All right, so yeah, I'm going to give you guys a better look at the predictions this time because 3 years ago I obviously just had my face and just talked the whole time. This time I got you guys set up with this. 3 years, and I only improved by just doing this much, but we'll take it, small steps. Anyway, starting with the first one, week one, we got the Jaguars at Dolphins, and I'm gonna be honest, um, I am really not high on either of these teams, and I'll get to the Dolphins eventually, but look, sorry to any Jaguars fans out there, I am not a fan of Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he's very good. Um, I think he's kind of overrated, but he's all right, but he's not great. And obviously, this team is in a bit of a tough division. Um, we got the Colts, Titans, and definitely the Texans, who are one of the biggest upcoming teams this year, probably the biggest upcoming team right now in the league. So yeah, I'll go through this, but like I said before, I'm not very high on the Dolphins. However, I have to give this one to the Dolphins just because um, Tyreek Hill, for one. Obviously, the loss of Calvin Ridley for the Jaguars is going to hurt them a lot. And I don't know, I'm just not really. I love Etienne, big Etienne fan. They got some good pieces on defense, but I personally don't think they're better than the Dolphins, and especially the beginning of the season Dolphins that are always just good for some reason, unless they play Baltimore and get blown up by 50. But that's a different thing. So yeah, Dolphins, week one. Next up, we got the Browns and the Jaguars. And honestly, I'm a big Steelers fan, so I hate the Browns, but I'm not gonna pick against them here because like I said, the Browns are a really tough team. These two first games are really tough for them, so I'm not gonna give it to them. Yeah, not really much to say there. All right, guys. So week three, Buffalo Bills. Um, Bills, I'm not really high on. I and I've said that a lot to start this, but I'm a big Josh Allen fan. I think he's like really good. But they lost so many pieces, and the main one being Diggs lost a lot of defensive pieces. And honestly, like I think their championship window closed. I'm gonna be straight up. Don't think it's there anymore. So that's gonna be kind of hard for them. And I think this is the time I'm going to give the Jaguars the win, just because I feel like if Josh Allen turns the ball over at all against this team, and the Jaguars are not a bad team. Like they're like I have them like a middle of the table kind of team, in the middle. But yeah, I don't see much from the Bills this year. I don't really have them that high, but they do have Josh Allen, so they always have that factor where they could win like any game on their schedule, but like consistently, I'm gonna give this to the Jaguars. Next, we got the Texans. Now, honestly, I have to give this to Houston. Houston, again, I won't talk too much about it, but Houston has so many people. CJ Stroud's a stud. He's amazing. Like, I'm big on CJ Stroud. Clears Trevor Lawrence, sorry. But yeah, for sure. Like, I'm taking this Texans. It's a divisional matchup, obviously. And you know what? I'm gonna throw it down there. I think they're gonna split the series. I think Jaguars are gonna steal one from the Texans because they're divisional rivals. And I do think they have some great pieces. I mean, like I'm telling you, Travis Etienne is a very good player. So we'll be fine. Next up, we got the Colts here. And honestly, the Colts are another team. Big question mark. Anthony Richardson, he got injured last season. He looked good from what we saw, but got injured from running too much and then ended up hurting his shoulder, I think it was. But um, so I'm gonna give it to the Jaguars because I don't know, I really trust in the Jaguars to be able to stay where they need to be, and I think the Colts, while they have Pittman, I really like Pittman, he's really good. Richardson, question mark. They got a lot of other good pieces. Their O line still has those key pieces like Quentin Nelson. So still got some really good players, but I think Jaguars take this one at home. Really helps with these divisional kind of matchups, and you can really never predict. But honestly, we've seen the Jaguars beat the Colts when they were trash. If you guys remember a couple years ago, Jaguars beat the Colts, I think it was, and the Jaguars were like had 2 wins or something. Beat the Colts, and then we sent Pittsburgh to the playoffs. So thank you for that, Jaguars, that 1 year, and also thank you. Um, wait, no, they didn't lose. Never mind. But yeah, so I'm gonna give it to the Jaguars because I think they're good against the Colts. Next up, we got the Bears, and Bears, gonna give it to them. Um, I'm a believer in CJ Stroud. I still don't really know. I know he's getting a lot of criticism, especially because I heard he also has struggled just the very start of OTAs, so that doesn't really mean anything. But I do believe he's going to be a really good player in the league. And they have an insane wide receiver core, especially Rome. They got Rome now. Dunze, he's going to be a really good player in the league. And they still need help on their O line, honestly. Like I don't like it's not 100% yet. They still have a couple pieces missing. Being someone who's like lives not too far from Chicago, I hear about all this Chicago stuff, so I know what's going on there. They have some good defensive pressures. Like they got Sweat, who was a great addition for them, and they didn't have too much draft capital after like their first 2 rounds or they only had 4 picks, I think, and they had a trade to get into the draft for the last pick, but they still have some amazing pieces, and Caleb Williams is going to be good. They started looking really good at the end of the season with Fields. I still think Fields got done dirty, but I understand where they're coming from because Caleb, you don't really want to pass up on that type of level prospect. So I understand completely why they did made their decision. But yeah, I think they'll be. But I think they're better than Jaguars. Jaguars don't have what it takes to beat them. I don't think, unless they pull a typical Bears game and or a typical Bears season and like do not meet expectations at all, which is entirely possible. Next, we got Patriots. Patriots again. I'm taking the Jaguars. I think the Patriots will be good with Drake May. I like Drake May, but not yet. I think he needs to sit and rest or learn because he's not ready yet. Next, you got the Packers. I'm pretty big on the Packers this year. And honestly, looking at the schedule, the Jaguars have a lot of tough games here. Yeah, yikes. This one I'm going to give it to the. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to the Packers. I'm big on Jordan Love. Think he's a great player. Um, I don't think that the Jaguars are good enough to just run the ball, and I just really don't trust the receiving core. Like they just don't have any. Let's look up the receiving core. I'll be right back. All right, guys. So I actually forgot they got Gabe Davis, and he's a great player, I think, and another piece that the Bills lost. Going back to that, um, but they do have Ingram, who's been very good for them. He had a great season last year. Um, and then Brian Thomas, who is a player I wanted the Steelers to get potentially, but I think he's going to be a good player. He's LSU, I believe. So they do have some good pieces and have some good players here on offense. So um, I think, but I don't think it's enough for the Packers. Packers obviously still like they just never draft receivers high, and I don't think they had a really good draft either. But I know I'm a believer in the Packers this year, believe it or not. So I'm gonna take them. And Eagles, I'm not going to say much. I think the Eagles are maybe the team to beat in the NFC now with the addition of Saquon and the draft they had. So I'm not going to say much there. I'm going to take Jacksonville over Minnesota. I think McCarthy was just flying up draft boards just because everyone needed a quarterback. I still think he's a pretty solid player and he's going to be good, but initially, I'm going to take the Jaguars and with that, their offensive weapons that they have, even though I had said before they didn't, but I think Trevor Lawrence is still competent. I don't think he's that good, but he's still solid, and they'll take the win there. Lions, I gotta go Lions because Lions are it's so young, can run the ball, have Amon-Ra, Goff's been looking great. They have Brian Branch on defense to name one person. Obviously, Hutchinson, just a lot of great players, young players, and and it being in Detroit, I gotta take Detroit here. Skipping the game where I said the Texans would split. We got the Titans, and is this the first matchup? Yes, it's the first matchup against the Titans. Um, so I'm gonna have the Titans. Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna have the Titans splitting with the Jaguars. Now, I'm gonna be honest here. The Jaguars and the Titans are pretty even teams. Like, except the only difference being, I think Jaguars definitely have the better quarterback because obviously going to be a Calvin Ridley revenge game. Never know what's going to happen there. Maybe he gets his revenge here at week 14. Not that he, yeah, but let him go to free agency. He got paid a lot, like 91 million or something. But I'm still a question mark with the Titans quarterbacks. I don't know who it's going to be. Personally, I think it should be Rudolph because Rudolph had a great end of the year with Pittsburgh, and I love Rudolph, but that's just bias. But yeah, I think they'll split. Jets, Jags. I think Jets let one go here. Now, I don't think the Jags are. Um, I think they're gonna have a weird. I can't explain why. I think they're gonna lose to Raiders and beat the Jets. I have no idea why. Don't ask me why. But I think they'll be. They can take down Rodgers. I mean, yeah, they can take down Rodgers. Um, if he stays healthy, obviously the Jets are also a big question mark because I don't know how Aaron Rodgers is gonna play, but he's still Aaron Rodgers. I love Brees Hall, but I think it's gonna be hard for the Jaguars. But you gotta remember the Jaguars. Um, I don't think they made the playoffs last year, but they almost did. So yeah, I think they'll be fine. Oh no, they lost. They lost to Tennessee. Yeah, but they almost made the playoffs. So like, they got potential there. So they're still a great team. And I think the Jaguars, they can take one easily there. As for the Raiders, this is going to be my like throwaway game. I think Jaguars trap game kind of thing. Kind of close to the end of the season, they need to win, and they don't. And then honestly, I gotta give this one to the Colts. I think the Colts, like I said before, they'll be ramping up if they're healthy. I liked Michael Pittman looked great at the end of last year. He looks great at the end of this year. Could be really good. Like I said, they got a lot of pieces. Jonathan Taylor too. They can run the ball. Like it kind of seems like they're also evenly matched teams, but I got to give this one to the Colts at home. But yeah, so that gets us to 7-10. So not a great season for the Jaguars I have, but sorry, Jaguars fans, I know. But I have them splitting their all their divisional games because I think they're good enough to do that. All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. That's pretty much it. Of the Jaguars going 7-10, splitting their divisional games. They have potential to be better, but like I said, not really confident about the Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he's as good as people think. And I don't. I think I'm becoming less in the minority for that as well because we haven't really seen much from him, honestly. But they have potential to do better. They have some really good players, and I looked up the receiving core as I saw really good players. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna be doing the Titans next. The AFC South will be completed, and then I'll move into the next division. But if any of you guys have any suggestions for another division you want to see, I will do that one next. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya.